Would you rather meet your idol or be popular at school? The thing is, here's what I'll tell you guys, is that being popular in school is such a temporary benefit, and it's not even necessarily like a benefit. Here's the thing, is that being popular in school, when you're in school, seems like the most important thing in the world, and then whenever you're out of school, everything that just happened in the past doesn't matter at all. Not even a single bit. If something embarrassing happens to you in school, everyone's gonna forget about it. No one will care. If you feel like you're not popular and you feel like you're lonely, that's not gonna carry on with you for the rest of your life. Don't worry. As soon as school ends, if you still happen to be like that, everyone will forget. No one will care. Trust me on that one. Guys, you have to trust me on that one. Being popular at school isn't everything. And besides, there's a difference between being popular and having friends. So being popular doesn't even necessarily mean that you just have a lot of friends. I've lost friends before because they wanted to be popular. Like, I would have one of my best friends, and then they decided that they wanted to go be with the popular kids who they barely knew, but they left me, and like, I was their best friend at the time. They left me to go be with the popular kids. So being popular doesn't even necessarily mean you have more friends. It just means that you're all acting like you're popular. Like, trust me, the whole thing of like being popular at school is pretty dumb. Trust me on that one, guys. All right, trust me on that. That's something that, like, I guarantee you what I'm saying right now is true. I'm very confident. So I would much rather meet my idol.
Is KreekCraft fatherless? Oh. Okay. Well, yes, actually, I am. That's actually kind of the joke. It's self-depreciating humor. My dad went to jail whenever I was a kid, and mom and dad got divorced, and haven't seen him since. It's been like over 20 years. Fun fact, I actually went to therapy for it. I had to do years of therapy as a kid because it really messed me up. And the therapy, I don't know if it helped or not, but what helped me the most was joking about it, making light of the situation, you know, because it really upset me as a kid, right? Everyone else had dads. I didn't. So like in my head, it was either I can sit here and I can be sad about it, or I can say, hey, it is what it is. That's how it happened. That's what happened. I can make jokes about it. I can smile and I can move on. And that's what I chose to do. Kids, sometimes in life, there's things that's gonna happen that you just can't control, and it sucks. Some of them are terrible, and not having a dad for me was terrible growing up. But you just gotta smile, keep moving on, keep pushing on. One eye is bigger than the other eye from 2016. That's true. And the reason why, you watch my Draw My Life video, you'll know, but the reason why I was born with a cataract. A freak of nature happened whenever I popped out of the womb, and as a result, one of my eyes is significantly smaller than the other one. Again, one of those things I got bullied a lot about growing up. You know, like, kids are mean. It just got to the point where it was like, it is what it is. Can't help it. I was born this way. What am I gonna do about it? You know what I mean? So you just, like I said earlier in the video, smile, move on. Don't let life get you down.
Some people think that Dan is too childish for his age, but these people gotta realize that all of us, even when you're older, have a childish side in us.
It's true. I'm a big kid. My dad's a big kid. I laugh at stupid stuff. That's what I'm doing now. At the end of the day, this is all for fun. I don't really care. If you hate me, you hate me. You can't please everyone. There is no one in the entire world, whether they do music, whether they're just making artwork, YouTube videos. You're never going to be able to please everyone. So there's always going to be people who are like, I hate you.
I hate you.
But who cares? That's literally it. Who cares? If you enjoy what you're doing and other people like what you're doing, then carry on. Who cares about that little group of people who don't? This was a weird experience. I've done reading hate comments before, but not hate videos. This was a little bit more personal. And again, I'm not hating on any of these people. They can have their opinion. It's fine. Don't go find those videos or anything. Just leave them be. It's okay to have your own opinion. So what is the lesson from this video? I think I've covered it already. Just don't waste your time hating people. What's the point? Focus on the things you do love. And if people do dislike what you do or take a disliking to you for whatever reason, just know that you can't please everyone, and hey, they're wasting their time hating on something that doesn't even affect them. So Joke's on them.
I don't know if this is going too off the rails or anything, but there was also a point where I thought like past mistakes would haunt me forever or something, and people would think I was a bad person because I messed up once or twice or 3 times or 5 times. You know, that was at a time where the internet was kind of holding people accountable for like really random things. You know, this isn't like an anti-cancel culture rant. I do think like holding people accountable on the internet definitely has its place and definitely has kept a lot of bad actors off the internet. You know, just because I mess up a bazillion billion times, does that make me a bad person? Ding! No, but just kind of knowing, like, who I am and, you know, like, the little mistakes don't make me a bad person. And if a couple people on the internet want to think that, even after I clarify certain things, so be it. Pin me against the cross and stab me a million times. That's not walking back any apology I've made either. I do mean everything I have apologized for. I do mean it. Just becoming more comfortable in who I am and knowing that I'm an okay guy. I'm all right.
Hey, Chef BB!
What do you want, Junior? I'm frying Twinkies right now.
Well, there's this girl at school and I really like her and I want to buy her a bunch of stuff.
Wait, you gotta buy her stuff? Oh, she's a gold digger. She's for the streets. Drop her off on the curb.
Well, no, she's not asking for stuff. I want to get her stuff so that she'll be my girlfriend.
Wait, you shouldn't have to buy her anything. Look, she should like you for you, Junior.
I want to talk about bullying. It's not okay. Okay? Watch what happens, right? When I crumple this paper just a little bit. Ready? Okay, I crumpled it just a little bit. Okay, now the next day, I crumple it a little bit more. Okay? Now the next day, crumple it a little bit more. And then a little bit, and then a little bit. And then you keep crumpling it, right? That's like a bully. Keeps being mean to this one kid day after day after day. Now let's pretend that bully says sorry. That bully says sorry. What would happen? You said sorry to this paper. You try to fix it. You're like, bro, I'm sorry. Is the paper fixed? Can you see that? This paper is damaged forever. It will never be the same. I don't care. You sit here, you try to do this. This paper is ruined. Because of that bully, this paper will never be the same. This is why bullying is not okay. As I proceeded to kill the kid. Sorry about that, by the way. I don't know why I did that.
And I don't say it just to say it. I say it because it's the truth. You can do anything that you want to do. Anybody that says otherwise don't have your best intentions at heart. They want you to fail. They don't want you to break out. They want you to stay right where you're at, right where they like you to be at, 20, 40, 60. You want to work at freaking Bungie? I'm sure they don't have a no 60-year-olds allowed. But if your behind can program, if your behind can get on Maya or whatever that they use and do some work and you show them that portfolio and they be like, yo, hold on. You will work at Bungie. But it's really people out here that think, well, 20s are over and I didn't do anything with them. Guess I'm done. I peaked. That's it. High school years were the best. Messed around my 20s and now I freaking work at this dead-end job and my car's messing up and I don't have any money and I'm living on my girlfriend's couch. So, if that's where you want to stay, that's where you're going to stay. But the only person who has control of you and what you do is you. Now you can sit there, you can scroll on TikTok all day, or you can put it down, download Duolingo, learn a language, or you can do XYZ, whatever the freak that you want to do. Because when you done scrolling those 4, 5, 6 hours on TikTok, you ain't gonna be no closer to the things that you want to do. Our plans are going to have deviations sometimes. Sometimes things ain't gonna work out the way that you want them to. And that is perfectly fine so long as you do not give up. If you start putting limits on yourself, I'm too old. I can't do this. He's smarter than me. He's more in shape than me. You can outwork anybody. You don't have limits unless you put them on you. So many people, tragically, don't understand that. Well, I'm here today to drive that message home for you.
If you're like me, you never get approached by girls unless they're selling cookies, and beyond that, unless you're really attractive, famous, or have a puppy, it's all on you to break the ice with someone. You might be thinking, wow, that sounds unfair, what kind of double standard is this? But remember, don't hate the player, hate the game. Which I do. The good news is that because it's hard, that means if you're good at it, you really have a big step up on the people who refuse to try. Remember, when you're approaching someone, if you're just not weird, you're doing better than 95% of people. Now, if you're going to approach someone, you might be thinking, what if I get rejected? That would really hurt my ego and lower my self-esteem. Well, is that really as bad as living with the regret of not doing anything and wondering what could have been? If you're as fragile as me, it definitely is, which is why I have a permanent arsenal of coping mechanisms on standby, and I avoid difficult situations. But with that said, you can't expect someone or something to just fall into your lap, so sometimes you have to remember that rejection is just part of life, and you might have to be a little bit courageous.
No matter what gets in your way, no matter what adversity you face, if you keep trying, if you never give up, if you always pursue that thing which makes you happier, the thing that makes you burn inside you for the ambition that you have, the projects that you see on the horizon, the dreams that you hope to achieve. If you keep your eye on them, and not just on the dream itself, because if you obsess about the dream and what it will mean when you get there, you'll ignore all of the obstacles on the path. Like, really focus on the whole picture of everything. If you're trying to do something and you're constantly met with failure, or your friends don't believe in you, or your family doesn't believe in you, then those are obstacles that are on your path to your goal. And you need to see the whole picture. You need to realize that some dreams carry a heavy price, but if they're worth it, then nothing can stop you.
The golden rule still applies. You still need to treat people the way that you want to be treated. And you're seeing it less and less these days. Because people have an automatic tendency to assume that if someone is disagreeing with someone, they are their enemy, and they're inherently bad, and they should be fought. But you can disagree with someone and still respect them. You can even hate someone. You can hate and abhor their actions. They're doing terrible things, and they need to be hated. But you still need to treat them with respect. And that's hard.
Okay, I have this burger. I have to hide it because I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, do I take the patty out and like put it in my pocket? What? Do I try and eat the burger really quick so she can't see that I ordered a burger? Because like she said, you cannot eat meat. And she said I get in trouble if I ate meat.
So you really consider taking the patty out and hiding it?
Yeah. I was considering like switching my tray with someone else, but I didn't have any friends. True. I didn't have anyone to switch it with.
Oh man.
So I started sweating. I was panicking. Here she comes, she's walking over with the popcorn machine. She sees me, she's waving, and she starts walking over, kisses me on my head, and she's like, I thought I told you not to eat meat. I was like, oh yeah, sorry. She was like, okay, just in the future, just get like a salad or something. I was like, okay. And then she just walked away. But like, that was it. And the moral is, I guess if you don't want to live in constant fear, just do the right thing.
One advice for singles from each person. This is from Sancher Lit.
What advice to singles?
What advice to singles from each person? Me, I'm going to say this right now. Don't try and be somebody you're not. Be patient. Don't go hunting. Don't go chasing. When you're ready for a relationship, you've worked on yourself, they'll chase you. Because that's when you know you're ready. It's like a ripe banana, okay? You can't go out there green, bro. You gotta wait till you're got some brown spots, okay?
But then I thought about it, and I was thinking, well, when you forgive someone, it's not really that you're saying what they did was okay or good. It's just that you are no longer letting that thing bother you, sit rent-free in your mind, right? Like if someone said some comment to you years ago, and it offended you, or, you know, they said something that, you know, maybe was justifiably, like, that was pretty bad, what they said to you, and you were right to be offended. If that's still bothering you years later, then I think you need to find a way to forgive that person and accept that that was in the past, that was years ago. But if someone said something and you can't even remember what it was, or if you got in a fight with your friend about something that you can't even remember what the fight was about, then I think we need to let it go. I think that that's the kind of thing where it's pointless to not forgive someone. And I'm like, hey, can I have your number? You know, nothing like crazy, no like weird pickup line, like you're the only 10 I see, none of that crap. Just talk to her like she's a human being. And, you know, thankfully she says yes, and the rest is history. I mean, that's a very simplistic way to put it. There's been 7 years of history, but we're still together. And so I don't know if there's a lesson in that, but I want to share that for anyone who might be thinking about asking someone out, or they don't know how to talk to women, or if you're a girl, you don't know how to talk to a boy. You know, same idea. It's really nerve-wracking. You know, people make it out to like, oh, if you're not able to talk to women, then you're some sort of beta, or you're not a man or something. But even the most macho alpha men can be brought to their knees when they have to actually talk to a woman. You know, like the muscular guys that go to the gym, you think they're full of confidence. Put them in front of a woman, they don't know what to do with themselves because it's difficult. It's, for whatever reason, really nerve-wracking to try to find someone to share your life with. And, you know, it might not work. You know, the first example I gave, I completely screwed it up. But that's how you learn. That's how you grow as a person. Because then the next time I tried it with my actual girlfriend, it actually worked. You know, I gained some experience. Because not every attempt of anything in life is going to be the one attempt. There's probably going to be lots of failures, whether that's in business or school or, in this case, relationships. And it's not something to be feared. You know, I mean, like I said, my heart was beating out of my chest. I was super nervous. But I'm so grateful that I actually decided to ask out my girlfriend, because then I wouldn't be here 7 years later with a nice, happy relationship. You know, at least you tried. At least you shot your shot. Because if you don't do anything, then the answer is most certainly no. I mean, you can't expect them to ask you out if you really like them. And I understand that, like, relationship advice can be a super icky, weird field, and people like, these are the 7 tips on how to talk to women. And it's like, come on, dude, no. Like, it's just talk to people like they're humans. My point is just try. Actually, just try. You know, it's gonna be nerve-wracking. You're gonna be sweating bullets. It's gonna be unpleasant, but at least you tried. Because who knows? Maybe you're gonna ask that person out and they'll say yes, and you'll marry that person. You don't know. Anything can happen.
The quote I remember, and I remember this anytime I'm stressed or I'm getting a little overwhelmed, is this: action is worry's worst enemy. You know, you can worry about how to do something, but really, you should just go and do it. You'll learn more, you'll feel better, and you won't be stressing or worrying about it. And it really works. You know, for me, I think there's 2 ways of working, especially with creative stuff. There's doing things, and then there's thinking of the best way to do things. My advice is just do more of the doing things. You know, you learn more. You learn so much more from the things you do than the ones you theorize about doing and spend ages, you know, obsessing on how to do it best. You know, I just started this new Minecraft World series, and since the videos came out, I've had 20 new ideas of ways to make the sequel better, because I did it. I published it. And, you know, you learn as you go, and you can't pre-plan everything. And so many real things will just happen along the way that suddenly you'll go, oh shit, I never thought people would resonate with that. I never even thought I was capable of doing that. Especially with creative stuff, which it sounds like you want to get into. And again, falling behind, this is all perspective. I felt like I'm falling behind so many times. I do feel it now. Look, you've got to remember, the race of this is long. And at the end, it's only with yourself. No one else. You don't need to compare. You never need to make stuff out of a place of competition. And it just won't be as good compared to if you're making things out of love. So just take it easy, take it at your pace, and enjoy it. Everyone always does best when there's no pressure to. So the more you can take away that pressure, you know, not thinking, God, I need to best everyone, beat their sub count. This person's younger than me and doing better. The better you'll do. And to be honest, the more likely you will be to best someone. I hope that helped.
It's okay to make mistakes. I just want to say that before moving on, because I've made terrible ones, but we all do. We're all human, nobody's perfect, and that fact that nobody's perfect itself is perfect. Mistakes exist so that we can learn from them. And if you don't learn from your mistakes and make an effort to stop making the same ones,
then you've made an error. You're probably going to end up making it again, defeating the whole purpose of a mistake. If you make a mistake, just reflect on it. Sometimes not all consequences of a mistake can be fixed, but you need to make sure it doesn't happen again. I often think about why it was a mistake and how I can move on from it. What can I do to like prevent it from happening again in the future? I think you're really able to see this change in me and my personality if you go through my old tweets to today's. I was harsh on some things, like defending my intellectual property, but once again I realize now that that was a mistake, and I'd like to think that I learned from it.
What advice would you give to someone who is stuck with something they don't enjoy, but want to do something they enjoy, but might not be liked by that decision? It depends what you're doing. I mean, if you're going to do something that's you enjoy, such as, I could get really graphic here, but you know, like committing crimes, I would recommend you don't do that. But if it's something like, oh, I want to be my family's forcing me to get education to be a doctor, and I don't want to do that. I want to be an engineer, or I want to go do music, or I want to go do this or that. If you're going to end up where I am, you know, doing something you don't like to pay a bill, you're going to regret not going for something that you like, if that makes sense. You know, if you know in your heart, if you know deep down, and you're like, I gotta say you're old enough. If you're like 18, if you're old enough to make these decisions, when you're younger, your mind will change, and there's a lot of changes that you go through. So if you're younger, I probably wouldn't, I don't know what I would say, but I'd say, well, if you're old enough and you know that, oh, I'm this type of person, I want to do this, but I'm being forced in this direction, you have to try to get over to this direction, especially if you know deep down that's who you are and that's what you want to do. Because if you're doing something for a paycheck that you hate, even if the money's good, you'll be miserable. And in the end, that's probably not the best choice, is, you know, if you do what you love and you do it well and you put your effort into the stuff you love, the money will come. But if you're in a situation where you're like me, where you love music, if that's what you want to do, that's who you are, that doesn't mean I should go, because I'm not quitting my 9-to-5 job right now, because it would be silly for me to quit and then try to rely on any kind of royalty income that I get when I have a job. So right now I'm working my job, and on the side I work on my passion and my side hustle stuff. You know, does that make sense? I hope I've answered the question, because I just keep rambling. I don't know. Let's move on.
Go on then. School's about to start. You don't want to be late on your first day.
But Mom, I'm a guest. Nobody's going to like me.
Hey, look, it's a stupid guest. Didn't think there were any of them left.
Yeah, I know.
Ignore them. Go in there, be yourself, and you'll make friends in no time. Remember what we've always told you.
Be strong, little man.
Always be strong.